Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome, everyone. A brand new week, as always, with our Mindset and Motivation Monday here on the Cabral Concept Podcast. Over 6 years now, every single Monday, starting with a show based on mindset. So for me, and again, I've only understood this from my own personal framework, my own inability to get well over 10 years, and so much of the ability to heal actually comes from the mind itself. Now, the mind is not the only thing. You have to be able to actually make the physical changes and actions in order to heal as well, but the mindset is what enables you to continue on and actually find the things that you need to do. So I've always believed in the power of the mind. I saw that when I was at my best, my mind was at its best, and when I was at my worst, my mind was obviously falling behind. So there's another thing, though, and that's also the mindset of the high performers in life. And so for me, I look at everything from the lens of what I do and really what my life's all been about, and that is trying to learn, assimilate, and teach all things health and wellness and body transformation and longevity anti-aging. And so I've had the privilege, I mean, honestly, it is a privilege to work with some of the highest performers that most people would consider that, give them that title in the world. We're talking about billionaires. We're talking about high-level CEOs and executives, celebrities, Hollywood movie producers, professional athletes, Olympic champions, and so many more. And what I can share with you and what I'd like to share is that they were all very different. I mean, let's take like the CEO who's on literally a jet flying at least once or twice a week all over the United States, sometimes Europe. Okay, so we've got that person. We've got another person that is literally considered one of the greatest minds in investing in the world. Okay, we work with them. You know, a billionaire that I've worked with. Okay, and I've worked with multiple billionaires. So we've got that part of it. We've got the NFL athletes. We have the PGA athletes. We've got a lot of athletes that I've worked with, and we have that mindset. I also saw their mindset when they were at their worst and they were injured, and I was helping them with that comeback. So we've got that. We've got elite, believe it or not, I played with elite, or I should say I've gotten to work with, never played, with elite poker champions. So that was really interesting. Elite MMA athletes. And so what I'm just trying to share with you, and Olympians as well, all different sports, all different people, they didn't know each other, yet they thought in a very specific way. And what I want to do is always share with you those high performer secrets, because there's something to be learned, meaning that even though they had their own mindset each, they had kind of their own philosophy and way of looking at life, there was a few things that always were similarities that most people didn't have. And the more that I've studied those people that excel in anything in life, again, like I'm sharing this with you because you have to understand is that if you want to achieve anything, a better relationship, better health, body transformation, losing weight, gaining weight, whatever it might be, higher levels of connectedness and spirituality, or greater career, finances, etc., you have to use the same principles that the high performers, the best of the best, use. You maybe won't use them to the same degree, but again, maybe you will. Again, like that's up to you, because a lot of the people that I just shared with you, almost all across the board, I'm actually trying to think of some right now, we're all self-made. Yeah, I mean, I've worked with a lot of people that, yes, inherited wealth and all that, but not any of the people that I just shared with you that ran through my mind. They all just came from low to middle class families and were able to find certain success threads, and they were able to do it by really something that does not make any sense on the surface, and that is they all did less in their life than the average individual. Now, again, this is not going to make any sense at first. Let me break it down and explain. So whenever I spoke with, let's just give a couple examples. Let's go with the billionaire investor, and then let's go with an athlete. Okay, so let's go with an NFL athlete, that I've worked with. Okay, so two totally different people. One of them was like off the wall, hilarious, a former Patriots player, we'll put it that way, lived in Boston, got to work with them. Great player, Super Bowl champion. Okay, so best of the best, right? Absolutely elite, high performer. Then the other one was the serious investor. Okay, both of them very, very wealthy, different ways. Great. Now, although two completely different human beings, they shared the do less in common. Now, do they each work a lot of hours? Absolutely. They absolutely worked a lot of hours, and I'm going to talk about that on a different show. It doesn't mean that you need to work that many hours, but what they didn't do was anything that drew them away from whatever their number one goal was. For the billionaire investor, that person's job was the highest returns possible for their clients. Okay? So they wanted to do, if the market averages 8 to 10% a year, right? Their job was to return double that. And that's what they did. Okay. So that was that one person's goal. The other NFL athlete, what was their goal? Be the very best that they could be, stay injury-free, and in this case, rehab and come back to prove to the world they still had it and win another Super Bowl, which is exactly what they did. So two very different goals, but locked on, meaning they knew their specific goal. And here's where it starts to get very interesting. Anything that did not contribute to them achieving those goals, they pushed out of their life. Now you might say, well, that's easy for them because of money, finances, et cetera, and I get it, I totally understand. But we have to start to use some of these principles. And here's how they did it. So anything that was not going to, let's go with the NFL athlete, anything that was not going to help them rehab, get stronger, eat the right food, like any one of those things was a no. It was essentially no. So when they were, now this person liked to enjoy themselves, but when they were rehabbing and get ready to prove everyone wrong and come back, no alcohol, no poor food choices. So they had a chef come in and prepare their meals. And I know, yes, of course, that's really nice to do. But again, at the same time, I've shared many, many times about simple, easy to prepare meals that you can do yourself. Again, like for myself on a lunch, like for a lunch, I can take out an oven tray. I can put some non-bleached parchment paper on it. I can put on a piece of wild frozen salmon, right? Frozen wild salmon, frozen cauliflower, frozen broccoli, just bake it for a half hour, take it out, put a little bit of sea salt on it, a little olive oil, and I have a meal. I can add some butternut squash frozen cubes there. So I'm not saying you should do that every day, but at the same time, okay, I have a Mediterranean anti-inflammatory diet that took prep time of pouring the frozen things onto the tray and then putting it in the oven for a half hour and taking it out, right? Like, so it's like, you could still do that. Again, you may not have the chef, and I get it, I understand it, but don't let what you can do, right, or can't do stop you from what you can, all right? So let's focus on what we can do. So the thing is, though, they had someone that was able to clean their house. What I'm trying to say is they didn't do anything to such a high degree, 99 of 100 things, that was not going to directly attribute or contribute to them reaching their goal. The same exact thing with the billionaire investor, and even more so. Like theirs was so dialed in. They didn't plan any of their trips. They didn't do their own, they didn't bring anything to the dry cleaners. They didn't even think about all their own food. I helped get them set up with someone that meal prepped or delivered certain foods. I helped them with their exercise routine. They literally showed up and it was done. So everything was done. None of their brain power, none of their bandwidth went to anything else. Now, again, these are the extremes, but it's also the extreme success. So at some point we have to understand is that the highest level performers, and many of us don't even want to get that level because of what it takes, right? Is a different mindset. So now how can we use this with your own life? It's actually much easier than you would think. All you have to do is look at all of the tasks throughout your day. Anybody inside of IHP, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, has seen my schedule before, and that's an older schedule. Now it's broken down into basically 15 to 30-minute max time blocks. And you might say, oh, that's not for me. I get it, I understand. But let's break it down a little bit more. If you want to achieve great things with your life, if you want to reach your highest potential, if you want to live a life of no regrets, you need to write down what would be a life of no regrets. What would make it a life worth living, full of happiness and passion, right? Like what would contribute to that? Because I talk to so many people and they don't know. They're unhappy, but they don't know. I said, okay, like what does happiness look like then? Right? Like you're unhappy right now. I get it. I totally understand it. And you know what? You have a right to be unhappy. There's nothing wrong with that. But tell me, what does happiness look like? And they don't know. Well, that's one of the reasons why you're unhappy. It's impossible to get to a place of happiness, which, by the way, you never arrive. You work on getting there, right? And I've shared that on other shows, and that actually is the happiness, right? But if you don't know, there's no map to get there, and that leads to anxiousness and anxiety because you don't actually know what would make you happy. So first, I always say you have to lock onto something that enables you to look forward to the future. Now, again, sometimes it's proving people wrong. And I'm not saying that's not the highest level of emotion. But what does it do? It causes you to create a goal that enables you, and I like the word enables you to take responsibility for your life. And then what you have to do from that point on with your daily schedule, because you only need to take care of one day at a time. If you take care of today and you wake up tomorrow, well, tomorrow is today. And you just have to take care of today. And it will happen again the next day. So plan your week, but just take care of today. Look at your schedule, follow your schedule. So then it comes down to, as you're looking at your schedule, there's all sorts of time blocks, and you're holding up your phone here and you're like, oh, I'm going to scroll through YouTube for 30 minutes. You didn't plan to, but 30 minutes is now gone. Same with Instagram, same with whatever. Well, if that's not serving you, it may not be the best use of your time. And we do this all day long, right? I have a podcast called The Missing 6 Hours Per Day. Please do check that out. It's just at stephencabral.com/podcast. You can just type it right in the search box. So what I want you to do as you are going through your day, if you have big goals, I want you to accomplish those big goals. Because again, do them now. It doesn't get easier when you're 80, 90 years old. You have less energy. You have less vitality. And again, I'm committed to helping people get that back. I'll be doing a lot more work with high performance in just a couple months from now. So stay tuned for that. But what I want to share with you is this. As you are moving through your day, I just need you to ask this question to yourself literally all throughout the day, or when someone asks you to do something of yourself and time. You have to ask yourself, is this worth it? That's the question. Is this worth it? So if I want to take a break because I just had a lot of meetings, I'm under stress, I'm procrastinating, and I get on Instagram and I'm looking through my messages, and then I'm on the search function and it's scrolling through all these different, dopamine releasing videos or whatever it might be, I have to say to myself, is this worth it? Right? Because if I'm trading this right now for what I should be doing, this thing scrolling through social media is not going to allow me to get towards my goals in any way, shape, or form. So we have to ask ourselves, is this worth it? And if you look at your schedule, let's just say we have a lot of IHPs that are able to work between 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Okay, so they have 4 hours of the day, and they can create an amazing health coaching career while their kids are in school, and they even have a little bit of time for errands, things like that. Okay, so for 4 hours a day, you need to be ruthless with your time, right? And if you can be working with coaching clients and you can be going for your certification or studying, it may not be worth it for you then to say, okay, I'm going to go to the dry cleaners. I'm going to go, do whatever those things are, food shopping. It might be worth it for you to have those things delivered. It might cost a little bit more, but it's enabling you then to do more of what you want that leads you to your goals that you might actually be compensated for. Again, you're going to have to find out what works for your life based on your finances and your situation. I totally get it. People are at different stages of life. Like that's just normal. And if you're able to trade that, buy back time. Get as much of your time back in your day as you can. Because that time, and you don't need a lot of it, will allow you to work on you. So then you just need to pick one goal. Because you don't really need more than 2 half-hour time blocks per day to achieve your wellness goals, to achieve weight loss or weight gain goals. You can do your meal prep and workout in that time, no problem at all. You don't need that much time back, really, even for relationships, right? You can actually set that time up for you and your partner to actually talk, to connect, to unplug from Wi-Fi and all those things and actually have a conversation. Sit down together, enjoy a meal, whatever it might be. Same for spirituality. What would it do for you if you were to listen to a sermon or read a spiritual-based book for 2 half-hour time blocks a day? I mean, I bet it would do a real lot because I've been there. I understand that. So we have to keep in mind, we don't need a lot more time. We just need to get that time back. So then, if you can answer the question, is this worth it? If it's a no, we just say, do I have to do this? And if you don't have to do it, if there's a way out, you just don't do it. Because it's taking you away from you and what you want to achieve. And I've always found that those people who work on themselves and take care of themselves have more to give than to others. I'm always at my best if I've just gotten a little bit of time for myself. So if I'm able to get up a half hour earlier for a little bit of me time, and I'm able to go for a walk right around lunch for a little bit of me time, and then I'm able to work out right before I head home, I'm good. Like those are only basically 2 to 3, ideally 3, 30-minute blocks a day. And then you might say, well, that's a lot of time to yourself. Some people would say that. I understand it. I get it. But what I do is I take all the things that I have to do and then I really plan the day. So there's no wasted time. And then I get home and it's my daughter's time. It's my wife's time. So what I want to share with you is that being selfless will actually come from being a little bit of selfish with your time. Just a little. It's very, very important. So then, if you answer the question though, is this worth it? And it's a yes, you then have to ask yourself, okay, then it must be worth doing well, so will I do it well? Let me share with you this part. If you say to yourself, okay, I need to go to the gym, I need to exercise, yeah, that's worth it for overall health and wellness and longevity and energy and body transformation, all these different things. Okay? So that's worth doing. And it's certainly then worth doing well. Will you do it well? Meaning like, will you stick to the schedule? Can you make that work in your life right now? That's the second part. Because if the answer is no, don't even start. Honestly, don't even start. If you know that you're not going to truly commit to it right now, don't start. That's the truth. Because then it's just one more wasted attempt when you could have been doing something else. So just sidestep for a second and say, okay, I'm not going to realistically go to the gym. Will I, for 30 minutes a day, go for a walk and do some body weight exercises? That's certainly still worth your time for body transformation, health, longevity, all those things. Will you do that well? The answer is yes, I can fit that in. I'm going to do it actually at 6:30 to 7 in the morning before I start getting the kids ready for school, right? Or right before lunch or right after lunch, like whatever it might be. So the first thing that we need to do is get crystal clear on that of which we want to achieve. Then after that, we need to try to remove as much as we can in life that will not enable us to hit that goal. So anything extraneous, make it easier. Make it simpler. Outsource it as much as possible. You can't outsource your entire life. I understand. We've got our family side, our relationships, our friends, our parents. We've got our work. There's a lot. But you have to understand that the only way that you actually achieve these big goals is to get serious about them. So I want you to be serious about them. Maybe not like the Olympian, the NFL athlete, the billionaire that I just spoke about, but as serious as you want in order to achieve your goal. And the bigger the goal, the more serious you need to be. This isn't to be off-putting whatsoever, but it's to understand that in order to achieve the things in life that you want that have meaning, where you'll live then a life of no regrets, you have to start doing less in order to achieve more. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's Mindset and Motivation Monday podcast here on the Cabral Concept. I appreciate you. I thank you so much. And as always, if this was helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.